As a mother, the most difficult stories for me to report are the ones where I sit down with a parent who lost their child. Such is the case with Sergeant First Class Allison Bailey. Allison served her country for nearly 2 decades. Her life ended a few weeks after she was discharged from duty, thrown out of the reserves over claims she harassed fellow soldiers.
There are no words. Losing a child, there are no words.
Felicia Kavanaugh recently had to find words.
As many of you know, I'm Allison's mother.
In a setting no mother should ever have to face.
Allison was born here in Las Vegas at Nellis Air Force Base 34 years ago.
Allison's service record was nearly impeccable. Her reviews outstanding all the way through September of 2019, where she was noted to far exceed the expected standard. That changed around the time she attempted to initiate an Inspector General complaint in September of 2020, alleging bullying and a toxic work environment in her unit. Just 4 months later, a misconduct investigation was launched, but it was against her.
She filed complaints, and she was swiftly retaliated against.
In her digital diary, she appears distressed and distraught as she makes what proved to be an eerie prediction.
This is killing me. I mean, mentally, physically, everything. It's killing me.
During the misconduct investigation against Allison and her attempt to file that IG complaint, a secret was revealed, something Allison said she'd been afraid to talk about for fear of retaliation.
During the course of a conversation between her and her equal opportunity advisor, who's a mandatory reporter, she disclosed that there had been a sexual assault.
2 alleged assaults by the same fellow Guardsman. Nikki Randall was the response coordinator assigned to Allison's case through the military's Sexual Assault Prevention and Response Office, or SAPR. That's where a victim can ask for an expedited transfer to another unit and access other resources. But Allison claimed to her family and others she was not getting the support she needed.
I said, because they asked me about it, or did you have a person? And I said, well, yeah, I did, but it didn't last nearly a whole month.
Randall has a different story.
From my perspective, in the SAPR program, her case was handled appropriately. We did everything as an organization that we were supposed to do related to the sexual assault case.
That included offering services and resources to Allison. We asked for details, but the Guard declined to give any or provide documentation of their contacts with Allison, citing confidentiality. Department of Defense statistics from this 2022 report on sexual assault in the military show that most assault cases in the U.S. go unreported. Nevada National Guard Captain Emerson Marcus says that's changing.
And I will say that we have seen an uptick in reports. We consider this a good thing in the Nevada National Guard. We want people to feel comfortable coming forward about filing a sexual assault case.
There's nothing comfortable about it, says Navy veteran and sexual assault survivor Sandy Duchek.
Sergeant First Class Allison Bailey contacted Veteran Sisters.
Duchek is vice president of the nonprofit Veteran Sisters that helps military assault survivors.
When you're in the military and you're sexually assaulted, it's likely to be someone within your chain of command, and you have no recourse. You can't just leave.
After Allison reported the sexual assault in January of 21, Felicia says her daughter's career and life began unraveling under immense pressure and stress. Again, Allison had received outstanding reviews in her yearly evaluation since joining the Guard, but look at this one from the year between September of 2020 and 21. It includes the time span when she tried to file that IG report and the allegations of rape. In this evaluation, she was written up for allowing her personal issues to overshadow her performance and showing no effort to view her difficult situation as an opportunity to better her performance.
As clear-cut a case of retaliation that I've ever seen.
Chris Tinsman, Allison's military-appointed attorney.
She was a high flyer. She was universally regarded as one of the best in in all of Southern Nevada.
He had contact with her multiple times, but when Allison became his client after the Nevada Guard accused her of misconduct,
She was not the same person that I had interacted with for several years prior to that. She was nervous, anxious, didn't trust anyone.
her alleged assailant was investigated by the Nevada Department of Public Safety, but never prosecuted due to insufficient evidence.
Sexual assault is one of the most difficult crimes to prove.
Allison was disciplined for having sex with that subordinate soldier.
The military puts a lot of the weight of these kind of disciplinary actions on the superior NCO or officer in the case.
But Allison alleged the sex was not consensual and that she blacked out during both incidents.
I met with Allison about a month and a half before she died.
Former California Guard JAG officer Dr. Dwight Sterling.
This is the pattern that I've seen over and over again here, where the woman who brings, who comes forward with the charge is really turned against.
Sterling teaches law at USC. He's also CEO of the Center for Law and Military Policy, which he founded to fight for service members' rights. Both Sterling and Department of Defense statistics say nationally, retaliation is the norm. A third of women in the U.S. military reporting sexual assault were discharged within a year. 24% of those women received a less than fully honorable discharge.
That will then, break the person, so morally, spiritually, as well as physically, which is what happened to her.
On top of all that, Allison was suffering from serious medical issues.
She had a pancreatic mass, lesions, cysts. She was having seizures. She couldn't drive a car. She had metabolic acidosis, which is basically the blood in your veins turning to acid.
Military medical records from 2022 show she was also in treatment for anxiety and panic attacks, night terrors, depression, and insomnia. Allison was in the process of applying for a med board, which is a disability claim to get out of military service to focus on her health. It was denied in May of 2022. Allison's mother is troubled that the same system which denied the med board also ended Allison's career.
It was denied by the same people who chose her discipline and decided to kick her out with no health care, with no hope.
Throughout, the Nevada National Guard followed procedures in place, though, during Miss Allison Bailey's misconduct investigation, her subsequent sexual assault allegation, and the separation board made up of out-of-state military military officers.
Allison's other than honorable discharge in January cited what the Guard called a pattern of misconduct.
The problem here lies in the fact that the investigation that this whole thing was predicated on was faulty to the point of being completely unreliable.
As for the atmosphere when Allison was questioned,
I've been in some very contested cases with some very hot button issues. This was the most hostile I have seen any investigator be.
Allison died in March of this year, just 6 weeks after she was discharged. Her death certificate shows she died from acute cardiopulmonary arrest, meaning her heart and lungs failed due to multiple underlying conditions. And the other than honorable discharge had a significant ripple effect on what happened after Allison died.
She cannot be buried in the Veterans Cemetery. In fact, by their terms, she couldn't even have her military honors.
At her memorial service, friends from the Guard gave her those honors symbolically.
I will pursue the truth pertaining to Allison's unconstitutional treatment from the Nevada Army National Guard and do my utmost to hold the correct people accountable, no matter how long it takes.
As our coverage continues in the coming weeks, we'll hear about the congressional inquiry Allison's mother is pursuing, and we'll show you how some claim Nevada does not provide a level playing field for those who serve and are accused of misconduct. The Veteran Sisters Group is holding a candlelight vigil in honor of Allison Bailey on the Strip on Saturday, September 23rd at 8 p.m. We have details on our website. Their goal is to raise awareness about service members who claim they've suffered from retaliation. You can read this story and others in our series at ktnv.com/guardingtheguardsmen. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.